Hi, this is Dan with Single Coil Studios. Today we're going to talk about trills. Now as you can see, a trill is just a movement between two notes on the fretboard. And it's basically composed of two components. The first is a hammer-on. The second is a pull-off. And as you compose these together, you will eventually get to the point where you can do a full-on trill. Pretty much endless at some point. But how do you get to that point? Especially if you're a beginner guitar player and you haven't necessarily built up all of the kind of requisite guitar playing muscles, it can be kind of difficult and maybe even a little painful at first. Because you're doing such rapid movements for a long period of time, it can actually lead to things like repetitive stress injuries. So you really want to be careful that you're not overdoing it when you're working trills. So how do you get to that point? Well, I'm going to show you just a couple of techniques that can get you practicing trills and having results really soon. So now we're just going to look at a couple of techniques for improving your hammer-ons and your pull-offs. We're going to do between D and E here on the A string, 5th fret and 7th fret. And the reason we'll do that is because for a lot of people the ring finger is quite strong and very accurate when it comes to fretting. It's used in a lot of chords, so you may have already built up a lot of stamina and endurance here. So the first thing that we'll do is we're just going to start with a simple hammer-on. So you pluck the string once and then hammer onto the 7th fret. Like that. The next thing that we'll do is work on the pull-off from 7 back to 5. Now there's two ways to do a pull-off. There's the one where you just kind of release the pressure from the string like this, but you notice that it just kind of deadens the sound a little bit. When you do your pull-off, I want you to really try and dig in and kind of pull around the string and pull it, kind of like you're plucking it with your finger. When you do that, it'll add more attack to the sound and it will make it louder. So what that means is, as you do that, if you can get used to that motion, you're going to end up with a more even sounding trill. See, I'm really just digging in just a little bit behind it and pulling it this way. You don't have to, like, you know, freaking grab onto it and make it sound like crazy, but, you know, just there's a fine line between just letting it off and giving it, you know, something to use when it's making the next sound. So that's the basic strategy: is do the hammer-on, do the pull-off, and then just keep on doing that, hammer-on, pull-off. When you get to this point where you've done two hammer-ons, you may find that your endurance is starting to slack a little bit. You know, your point may be further on, you know, through a couple of different iterations of this, but once you reach that point where you feel like you just are losing your stamina, you know, stop there and practice, you know. Another good thing to do is grab a metronome and try and do your trills over your subdivisions. So if you've got your main beat like this, this will also help you to get that nice even sounding trill, working on that pull-off. And once you're comfortable here, move to triplets. And 6/8 notes. So you can do that. You know, that'll help you gradually build up speed. And then down here, kind of near the nut, you see this done a lot. You know, Eric Johnson does this between D and E. Depending on what finger you're happy with. You know, I like to use my index because I don't feel like I'm fretting something over here with it when I'm using the middle finger. I like just to use my index finger. And some of the other strings are going to sound, but it gives it kind of a wild, like Hendrix-y kind of a feel to it. You can even bend it a little bit, you know, with every little pull off, and just give it a lot of really good character. Now don't forget, you can do trills between different intervals. It doesn't always have to be 2. That's just the most common, that sound. Another, actually maybe even easier place to start is just a half-step trill. For a lot of people, the middle finger is strongest, so it's kind of a natural place to start. But you can also, once you get a little bit more advanced, start doing trills with your pinky finger. And it's really hard to keep that up for a long time. But anyway, what this also does, practicing trills, is it really helps to improve the individual dexterity and strength of each of your fingers. So now you have some exercises that you can go and take back and just work on to improve your trills over time. And remember, don't overdo it. Just do as much as you can and try and improve. Try and hold your trills for longer and longer as much as you can. Again, remember, just start with a hammer on, pull it off, like that. Then add another hammer on, and just start working that, and really focus on the pull off, the attack, and sounding that next note so that you kind of maintain a consistent volume and it doesn't fade out. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Please subscribe, please leave comments. If you have any ideas for other videos or lessons or any questions, just feel free to ask, and we'll have lots more good stuff for you soon. Thanks very much.